Good morning and welcome everyone to our webinar. So today we are going to talk about our new product, which is IRIV PiControl CM5 new product, and how does it improve from our previous IRIV PiControl. Okay, so let's look at our agenda for today. Okay, so today we will have our guests, and then we'll start with introduce our guests and speakers, and then we will start with the overviews of Raspberry Pi CM5, and then the comparison between CM5 and CM4, and then we can also show live demos. Okay, we have live demos for our viewers today, and then we are open for any question at any time. So if you have any question, you can just simply ask in the comment. We will answer straight away. Okay, and then so let's start with our speakers. Okay, our first speakers, Mr. Ober Chu Sui Ho. So we are very familiar with Mr. Ober. Good morning.
Morning from Malaysia.
Yeah,
For
good
those
morning.
overseas, yeah.
Okay, so can tell a bit about yourself, just a little bit.
Yeah, I'm Ober Chu here. I'm one of the co-founder of Cytron Technologies. I've been working for Cytron more than here is 15 years. I think more than 20 years to be correct.
Mm.
Okay,
Okay,
yeah,
right.
that's all.
So welcome, Mr. Ober. Right. Next, our next speaker. Okay, we have Mr. Kong. So this is our principal engineer at Cytron Technology. Good morning, Mr. Kong.
Good morning everyone. I'm Kong, and similar to Ober, I'm also the co-founder for Cytron. Then I mainly doing embedded system circuit and PCB design, and I was the main designer for the motor driver series, Raspberry Pi RP2040 series, and also now the latest IRIV PiControl CM4 and CM5 industry controller.
Okay, so welcome, Mr. Kong. Before we start, we greet our viewers first. Good morning from Lyria, okay, and from Ain also. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. So if you have any question during the webinar, you are free to ask at any time. So we will answer in the comment section. Okay. So shall we get start? Okay, I will pass to our speaker.
Okay, thanks for you. So I will start first with the introduction to IRIV PiControl CM5. So this is our IRIV PiControl series. Actually, there's two products in the series for now. So we have IRIV PiControl, which is on the left. We launched it, I think, end of 2023. This is based on Raspberry Pi CM4. And then Raspberry Pi also introduced the CM5 last year. We also come up with a newer version, which is IRIV PiControl CM5. So we have two products in the series right now, IRIV PiControl and IRIV PiControl CM5. So the today focus will be on the IRIV PiControl CM5. Actually, the only difference with the initial version of IRIV PiControl is that the SBC is different. So for the CM5 version, is powered by CM5. Then for the initial version, is powered by CM4. That's all. The rest are similar. Okay. So how do we identify it's a new CM5 version or CM4 version? So that's the label right here. CM5, CM5. This is powered by Raspberry Pi CM5. I actually have a actual product here. You can see that. Okay, there's a CM5 over here. And at the front also, there's a CM5. Then internally, the PCB is exactly the same. This is the top. Then at the bottom, the only difference is this module. This module. So this one is Raspberry Pi CM5. Okay. So I'll go through a little bit about the feature of this IRIV PiControl. So for communication port, it has one RS485 and one RS232. Both of them are actually isolated. Then for Ethernet ports, we have two. One is gigabit and one is 100 meg. So the reason we put two Ethernet port here is a lot of our customers actually using one, for example, for gigabit for the cloud or for the internet connection to the cloud. Then another one, they use it for the local devices. For example, to communicate with the sensors, to communicate with the PLC and other devices in the production floor. Okay. Then for input and output, we have 4 digital input, 4 digital output, and 4 analog input. So all of them are actually isolated as well. Then for expansion purpose, we have 1 mini PCIe slot. This is for 4G or LTE module. Then also for LoRa module. Besides that, there is also a M.2 socket, which is using PCIe. So this one is compatible with NVMe SSD for storage expansion. So this is especially useful if you are doing data logging application or some database locally in the IRIV PiControl. So at the side here, we have one OLED display. This one is extremely useful, especially if you want to use the IRIV PiControl with headless setup. So headless setup means we don't connect any mouse or keyboard and monitor to the IRIV controller. Instead, we use SSH or remote login to the IRIV PiControl to do all your configuration. So for those experienced users, you might have this problem to find out what is the IP address of the IRIV PiControl. Let's say I want to SSH into it. To do the configuration, I need to first get the IP address. So with this, we can straight away display the IP address over here when you plug in the Ethernet or Ethernet cable. Okay. Also, this is designed for industry, so it comes with a metal case and aluminum alloy heatsink. So for your information, the bottom plate for this casing is actually a 5 mm thick aluminum plate. So it also has the heatsink for the CPU for CM5 or CM4. So we tested it, we stress test it in our office, and also we sent to the lab test. This design actually can dissipate the heat from the processor without any additional active cooling such as fan, because in the industry environment, usually we don't like moving part. So we try to eliminate to have a fan on the controller. And it's proven that it's working well. We have a data to show that in the latest slide. And then at the back, we have a DIN rail socket. We can mount it on the DIN rail. So this is the DIN rail socket. You can see on my video. We can just mount it on the DIN rail like this. Okay, we received one of the question from the webinar registration form. Does the casing allow easy access to Pi head connector? So the answer is unfortunately no. There's not any connector for the head in this IRIV PiControl, because in industry application, usually we don't use head or we just pull out all the necessary port, input output port, and communication port into the connector on the casing. So you cannot add on any head to the IRIV PiControl. So if you have any special requirement or special use case that require a head, then you can come to talk to us. Maybe we can have some customization for that. Okay. Okay, so we all know that Raspberry Pi was initially designed for educational purpose, but along the way, actually, a lot of people are using that in the industry. So why is that so? We summarize that into 5 important points here. The first one is about the software ecosystem. Because the Raspberry Pi is based on open source OS, then it supports variety of software and communication protocol from third-party company or from the community. So for example, for software, we have Python, Node-RED, Grafana, and Codesys and Ignition. So Python, Node, and Grafana are open source. Then Codesys and Ignition are from the proprietary company. Okay. So for communication protocol, it supports Modbus, both TCP and also RTU. Then we have OPC UA, MQTT. This one is for the connection to the internet with the cloud, MQTT and RESTful API, and etc. Okay. Besides that, there is also extensive resources available online for Raspberry Pi. We have comprehensive documentation, tutorial, and community supported forum and user contributed projects. So before this, let's say we are using those proprietary controller from a branded company or proprietary PLC from a branded company. When we run into a problem or we have some issue cannot solve, usually we need to approach the FAE of the company. Besides that, there is no other way. The only thing we can refer to is the FAEP and hope that they can support us very well. But for Raspberry Pi, because of the open source nature, we can search for the resources online. It's available everywhere. So this can get us get started every project very easily and in the shortest time. Then also it also comes with lots of interfaces with both PC and embedded interfaces. So what I mean PC interfaces here are those available on the PC, like USB, Ethernet, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, HDMI, CSI, ESI, etc. Then embedded interfaces are those low-level interfaces such as GPIO, SPI, I2C, UART, PWM. All those are not available in PC generally. And because of that,
Mr. Kong, so
yeah,
talking about the interface and the resource, so we have a question from our viewers. Is there any difference in software compatibility or support between IRIV PiControl V5, I think CM5 and CM4? So is there any compatibility difference? Like, is there a software or library or support that
okay.
previously on CM4 can use and CM5 cannot use or something different?
Okay. The one of the example is the Raspberry Pi OS version. So for Raspberry Pi CM4, it can run Bullseye, which is the older version of the Raspberry Pi OS. Then for Raspberry Pi CM5, it must be Bookworm and above. So that's the only difference. So if your software can run in Bookworm, then there shouldn't be any problem lah. Unless your software is designed for Bullseye, then it cannot run on Bookworm, then you might need to have some modification to the software lah. Okay, so I continue. The last point here is about CM4 or CM5 is customizable. So the size of a CM4 or CM5 is only, I think, half of a credit card size. It's very small. So we can build our carrier board to extend out all the necessary GPIO or interfaces around it according to our needs. So it's customizable according to our application. Basically, there is 5 points the advantages of Raspberry Pi in industry. All right. So here are some example programming language or software supported by the Raspberry Pi. The first one is the Python. This is the code based. And we also have C or C++. This one is also code based. Then we have node rate. This is flow based programming. We call it low code programming. It's a flow based. Then we have Grafana. Grafana is good for visualization of your data. For example, you want to build a beautiful dashboard with chart and graph, all the stuff. Grafana is the right one for you. So all these four are actually open source. You can use it freely without paying any subscription fee. So for codices and ignition, these are proprietary. You need to get the license. Codices is for us to program the Raspberry Pi using ladder diagram or PLC programming language. Then for ignition, it's a bigger software system or is designed for SCADA application. Okay, how about the communication protocol? We have operation technology protocol, which means to communicate with the local devices such as PLC or sensors on your production floor. So we have Modbus, both RTU and also TCP. Then OPC UA, and Profibus and Profinet also supported. Then for communication with the cloud using internet, IT side, we have MQTT, we have WebSocket, and also REST API. So REST API those are HTTP lah. Okay, basically there's a brief introduction about the IRIV PiControl or IRIV PiControl CM5. So next will be the overview of the new Raspberry Pi Compute Module 5 CM5. This part I'll pass over to Mr. Oliver.
Yeah,
Okay,
thanks,
Oliver?
Kong. Yeah, thanks, Kong. So we'll be talking about the CM5. So similarly to CM4, actually CM5 is a compact version of Pi 5. So you look at the place that we highlight, the CPU, the RP1. RP1 is actually basically the I/O controller hub designed from scratch by Raspberry Pi team. So it will handle all the high-speed I/O communication. Then the RAM, the wireless part, and also the PMIC. PMIC is power management IC. So that is on the CM5 top layer, and bottom layer it add an additional eMMC. So if you choose the variant of come with eMMC, you have this IC there. Okay, so this IC is quite important for industry because if you use Pi 5, we know a lot of people use Pi 4, Pi 5, even 3B plus or 3A plus in industry. But one of the storage choice that you have for most of the Pi 4, Pi 5, Model B, 3A plus, things like that, board like that, normally they'll use the micro SD card. But micro SD card will corrupt over time. They have the write cycle, lifetime of write cycle, and also it's not meant for high temperature operating. So in industry, we actually prefer to use eMMC. So that is why CM compute module 4 or 5 come with the variant of eMMC on board. Okay, so that is the CM5 outlook. So in other words, it uses the same thing as Pi 5, more compact, and there's no, if you notice, there is no USB port, there's no internet. So in other words, we need a carrier board to it. That's why comes the flexibility of customization. You can customize for CM5 or CM4. Okay, so now we look at CM5 versus CM4. So there will be a table. Look at the variant first before we go to the specification of the comparison. So I highlighted CM4 and CM5. For CM5, there is a additional variant which is CM4 doesn't have, the 16 GB of RAM and also 64 GB of eMMC. So for those that need extra RAM and extra eMMC storage, CM5 is for you. Okay, so for others it's the same. Of course, CM5 doesn't have 1 GB RAM option, and also it starts with 16 GB of eMMC. Okay, there's no 8 GB in other words. So let's look at the comparison specification of CM5 versus CM4. So CM5 is launched last year, end of last year, around December or end of November. Okay, so the processor is the same as Pi 5, quad-core, running at 2.4 gigahertz. Then the GPU, same as Pi 5, and also the multimedia. Of course, at this part, CM5 is better than CM4. Those that I highlight in red color are better than CM4. Okay. So I think there is a question. Maybe we can answer that along the way also. Maybe Koyum can pull up the comment there. So let me continue before we come to here. So the RAM is faster compared to CM4. The speed, although they are the same LPDDR4, but the speed, communication speed is much more faster. And additionally, like I have mentioned just now, 16 gig of option. And eMMC is also faster, beside larger the capacity. And for PCIe bus, actually CM4 have it, but CM4 is limited to Gen 2. CM5 you can enable Gen 3, but this Gen 3 is not certified PCIe Gen 3. Okay, it doesn't guarantee that there might be a data loss in short. Okay, then for USB, CM5 provide additional two independent USB 3.0. You can have full two, I think it's 8 gigabit of speed or 5 gigabit of speed of your USB 3.0. Okay. And for RTC, you don't need another additional RTC IC. You just provide the external battery, then the RTC IC or the counter is built in. Okay, so the rest are the same. What else? Can we take a look? Then okay, the power supply, it can support similar to Pi5. You can provide USB PD that support up to 5A at 5 volt, 5M at 5 volt. Okay, but this one you must make sure you are connecting to the PD line. Okay, then the last one is the DSI and CSI port. So CM5 come with two 4-lane MIPI port, and each port can either be CSI or DSI. In other words, you can have two CSI or two DSI or mix. Okay. So just now,
Mr. Ber,
yeah,
before we continue, we have a question about the thermal performance. Okay,
yeah,
so here we see about thermal performance require active or passive cooling. So compare with our IRIV PiControl CM4 and CM5. Previously, we know CM4 IRIV PiControl CM4 performs well with just the heatsink and passive cooling.
yeah,
How about
yeah.
this new IRIV PiControl CM5 does? Because we know about the heat difference between the Raspberry Pi 5 and Raspberry 4. So how about IRIV? Do we need additional cooling?
Yeah, actually, we have that cover later on. Kong will actually cover this one. Just maybe a teaser. You don't need any additional cooling for IRIV PiControl CM5. We have tested it. It's slightly warmer compared to CM4 version, but it's just a few degrees Celsius. Okay, and that the heatsink is sufficient to dissipate the heat.
Okay, so thank you. We have one. Okay, so about the link. First link about the presentation slide does not work. Okay, wait. I will send the link. I think the
Okay.
link and the next wording is just combined, so the link become invalid. So I will send you a
Okay.
new link. Don't worry. Thank you for the reminder.
Yeah. Thanks for the feedback. So let's come back to here. So there's a question from the registered audience. How long does CM4 and CM5 can last in harsh environment? Actually, we have covered this in, I think, two webinars before this one. One of our speaker invited guests is from solar farm management. So they install Raspberry Pi in very hot environment under the solar under the solar panel, or even under some cases it's just a, a box outside under the sun. So Raspberry Pi can survive that. Just make sure you have a proper heat dissipation, for example, heat, on IRIV. So they have been installed this, I think, since 2 to 3 years ago without problem. Of course, initially when they use Pi 4 or Pi 5, it's not about the heat, but the micro SD card corrupt first. So when they change to CM4 or CM5, that problem disappear. So it had been working 24 hours, 7 days a week until now, as far as we know. Yeah. So next. So this
Okay,
one.
next will be about CM5 versus CM4 performance comparison. I'll be going through for this part, but before that, I think Huyum, there's a comment, there's a question in the comment section from Tigerzilla. Yeah. So Wi-Fi
Okay.
and Bluetooth connectivity is the same. Yes, it's the same. Same with Wi-Fi. But compared to 5.5, there is additional advantage where the CM5 allows us to connect to external antenna. So let's say if you want to enclose your whole controller inside a metal casing, you can just extend out the antenna. But for 5.5 or 5.4, you cannot do that. The antenna is on the PCB.
Yeah. And to add on that, actually they have compared the speed and I think it's a speed, more to the speed, because the signal is the same using the same module, wireless module, because it's not just Wi-Fi, but it's also Bluetooth on the same wireless module. Because of the RP1, which is the high-speed controller hub, is on CM5 and also Pi-5. The performance, the speed of the data communication between the wireless is much more faster compared to CM4 and also Pi-4. Just to add on that.
Okay, let's move on to the performance comparison between CM5 and CM4. So the first test we did was about the boot time. So the lower is the better. So for information on this graph, we compare among CM5 and CM4. The blue color one represents the CM5 and red is for the CM4. Then we also tested it in two storage. One is from boot from eMMC, and we also test it on SSD. So for the eMMC, we can see that the boot time for Raspberry Pi CM5, the CM5 version, is much more faster compared to CM4. It's almost half of it. So CM5, the boot time for CM5 is almost 2x faster than the CM4. Then also same for the SSD, it's not 2 times faster, but still a lot faster for the CM5 compared to CM4 over here. So we have a pre-recorded video over here. I'm sorry that we cannot do a live demo because we need to set up multiple camera to show the setup and also to record the screen. So instead we do it pre-recorded. So for this setup, we have CM5 over here, and then we have CM4 over here. So both of them are actually powered from the same power supply, and I switched on, it actually powered both at the same time. Okay, now CM4 is showing the rainbow color, but it's not boot up yet. The CM5 already showed the Raspberry Pi logo. Now only the CM4 showing Raspberry Pi logo. And actually CM5 already finished booting up. It's almost double the speed for booting up. Now only the CM4 version finished the boot up process. Okay. So the next comparison will be the disk access speed for eMMC and also for SSD. So for SSD, it's Gen 2 We use Gen 2 because CM4 only have Gen 2 PCIe. So on the left here is the result for eMMC, read and write. So we can see that CM5, the blue color one, is actually for read speed it's actually 3 to 4 times faster than the CM4. Then for write speed also it's faster but not too much. So like Albert mentioned just now, the storage, the eMMC for CM5 not only bigger but also faster compared to the CM4. Then for SSD, CM5 also a little bit faster, not too much, but a little bit faster for both read and write speed. Then one additional advantage for the CM5 is it support Gen 3. So we compare, all these are on the CM5 alone, compare among Gen 2 and Gen 3. So we can see that the read speed for Gen 3 is faster, write speed also faster. So the Gen 3 is actually around 40-80% faster than Gen 2. But one interesting fact we find out here is for Gen 3, actually the write speed is faster than the read speed. I'm not really sure.
Yeah,
I'm not really sure why it
speed.
happens. I'm not really sure why it happens, but this is the result we get from our test. We actually run multiple tests, not only one, and then we get the average value. So write speed is faster than the read speed for Gen 3. But Gen 2 is normal. Read is faster than write.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gong, by default,
Yeah.
CM5 PCIe is configured to be Gen 2, right? By default.
Gen 2, yes. You need to enable the Gen 3 in the Raspberry config.
Okay.
Okay. So next will be AI vision performance. This is the actual application. We run the comparison between CM4 and CM5 and CM4 using the same YOLO model for object detection. So on the left, this is the CM5 and this is CM4. So the most important number here is the FPS, frame per second. This means the controller can process how many video frame per second. So for CM5 is 7.52, then for CM4 is only 1.95. So we can see a very huge difference in the AI performance compare CM4 and CM5. Then this is without any additional AI accelerator. It's run purely on the CM4 or CM5 processor. So this is in our office. Okay, I just walk through in front of the camera. We can see that there is the lag in the CM4 version.
Yeah, this is object detection, right? Gong?
Yeah. It's using YOLO 11 model, if not mistaken. So for those who want to use the Raspberry Pi for AI or vision application, then can consider to have the CM5 version. The difference in performance is very big. Okay, next will be power consumption. So for this test, we compare in both idle state and also under stress test. So idle state means that we just power up the Raspberry Pi, then boot up the OS and let it sit there, do nothing. So stress is under stress test. We use the stress ng to stress out the CPU lah. So look at the graph, it's easier lah. So under idle condition, CM5 is around 3.5 watt and CM4 is around 3.1 watt. So CM5 is around 10 to 12% taking more power than compared to the CM4. Then under stress test, there is the big difference. For CM5, it is up to 10.3 watt. CM4 only up to 6.2 watt. It's around 66% more power CM5 is taking compared to CM4 under full load. But if we look at the number here, 66% looks very big. But if you look at the number here, it's only 10.3 watt. Actually, this is equivalent to one pieces of LED bulb in our house. So it's still very power saving compared to other industry PC in the market. This is to answer the question just now about thermal performance. So this test, we run it on the IRIV PiControl without any additional fan or any additional casing. We just put the IRIV PiControl on the table in the office. So stress test was done using stress ng for 1 hour. Then room temp is around 26 degrees Celsius. So from here to here is the idle time. Then we start the stress test over here. We can see that CM5 temperature rise a little bit higher compared to CM4, and it max out at around 60 degrees Celsius. So for CM4, it's around 55 or 56 degrees Celsius, which is a little bit lower. So both of them are actually quite safe from the safety margin because CM4 or CM5 you'll get the CPU clock will get throttled down at 85 degrees Celsius. So 85 minus 60 still have 25 buffer over there lah. But this is in room 10, 26 degrees Celsius lah. So I can say that the thermal performance on the IRIV PiControl is very good, even for CM5. Is enough for most of the use case. Then one very interesting file we get from this test is in the idle state. We can see that actually the CM5 temperature is slightly lower than the CM4. Around 1 to 2 degrees Celsius lower lah. So initially we also feel very strange why CM5 is colder compared to CM4. So we did some search around. Then we found out that it's mentioned in the official Raspberry Pi news. Under typical loads, the Raspberry Pi 5 or the CM5 will run cooler than a similarly loaded Raspberry Pi 4. So this our result proof this is correct. Okay, this is another question from the audience. Does Cytron offer services in testing software capabilities as well as how they integrate with smart hardware and solution system? So because Cytron is the hardware provider and we are the brand owner for this IRIV PiControl, we don't do any software or customization service for the customer. But instead, we have a lot of partner SI or system integrator that work with us together and offer this kind of service. So if you are looking for a complete solution based on Raspberry Pi, you can come and talk to us, and we can work out together with our partner SI lah. Okay, so far so good. We'll move to example application for IRIV PiControl CM4 or CM5. Okay, the first one, this is very common in the IR 4.0 application. It's about the overall equipment effectiveness, the OEE. This is the application done by our SI, one of the partner SI, to monitor the OEE of the production line using IRIV PiControl. So IRIV PiControl is over here. Then this is the demo dashboard we did using Node-RED. We bring to a lot of exhibition to showcase some of the example use case for the IRIV PiControl. Then we also have another SI for focusing in the solar farm. They use the IRIV PiControl to monitor the solar farm performance. They use this IRIV PiControl to connect and communicate with all the solar inverter in the solar farm, because according to them, the solar inverter is from different brand. It's a very old solar farm. So each of the inverter have different communication protocol. So they need one controller to communicate and gather data from all the inverter and then publish it in the centralized location. This is the dashboard they do for this.
We have one question, Mr. Kang.
Yeah.
Does Cytron provide tutorial or training for IRIV? Example, integration with Mitsubishi PLC.
Okay, we do have tutorial or training for IRIV PiControl, but mainly to interface with sensors or other devices. We don't really communicate with the special other branded PLC at the moment. So if you have that requirement, then maybe you can come and talk to us. We can discuss further. Okay. Okay. Next is about agriculture. The IRIV PiControl can also be used in greenhouse. This is for environment and soil data monitoring. So it's by my architect. They are one of our partner SI as well. They are special. Their specialty is in agriculture. This is the actual project they did using IRIV PiControl. So they monitor the soil data, the temperature, humidity, and also the weather of the surrounding the greenhouse. Then they also use it for fertilizer mixing and plant watering. They control the valve to mix the fertilizer. This one is the fertilizer, then this one is for the water and control the plant watering. And from the same company, they use to control the environment data for mushroom farm. So for mushroom farm, actually the humidity and temperature in the farm is very important. So they monitor it, and then I think they can also control it. Okay, so all the application I shown before this actually can be done using either CM4 or CM5. So, but when should we use CM5 instead of CM4? So because the CM5 is quite new, IRIV PiControl CM5 is quite new in the market, we don't have any actual use case to share. Here I summarize one of the few of the factors you need to consider whether you want to try out the CM5 or the CM4 version is good enough for you. So in short, you need to use CM5 when you need high processing power or high RAM usage. Just now, Ober also mentioned that CM5 will come with another version with 16 gigabit of RAM. Or here, CM4 only up to 8 gigabit of RAM. And for example, you are doing a large-scale IoT gateway. You use the gateway, connect to hundreds or even thousands of devices, sending in data very fast. Then you also need to display multiple dashboards to multiple clients. Then you have lots of node rate flow with high frequency data processing from all the sensor devices. Then especially for this one, heavy database usage like InfluxDB, MySQL, etc. Then you need to consider using CM5. Then for autonomous robotic, this one is actually we get a feedback from our customer. Last time we tried to got one customer is exploring want to use the Raspberry Pi CM4, the IRIV PiControl CM4 on the AGV, but they found that the performance running the ROS, the robot operating system on Pi4 or CM4 is not that good. So for this application, actually, you can consider using CM5 or in AGV or autonomous robotic application like object detection, SLAM. SLAM is simultaneous localization and mapping and path planning. Then this is also very important. AI application is getting more and more popular. Machine vision and also natural language processing. So NLP, this one is different from those ChatGPT or DeepSeek. This one is a very simple application like speech to text or chatbot model. For ChatGPT, DeepSeek, you need a more powerful controller. Okay, so to highlight about the AI application or the machine vision application, I have a few extra slides for that. I have one disclaimer here. The pictures I share in this slide after this is I just take from the web, and it's not the actual application from a customer, but the use case, the application is real. We get the feedback from our customer, or they actually they try out using Raspberry Pi 5 for that kind of vision application, but they cannot provide us the picture. So I just take the picture from the web and for illustration. So the first example is defect detection. This is one of our tutorial together with the Raspberry Pi 5. We do it in-house to detect a circular disk object. If there is a chip at the edge, then they can identify it as a defect. This one is about automatic number plate recognition, ANPR barrier. This is getting more and more popular, especially in the shopping mall, the parking lot in the shopping mall. They just scan your number plate, and then when you exit the parking mall, they scan again, then they will calculate the cost for you, parking fee for you. Then we have one customer is doing this for the guard house, for those guarded community or condominium. They have a barrier at the entrance, right? So they use number plate recognition to open the barrier. This is the actual use case. Sorry. Okay. Another example application is about people or visitor counting. We also receive an inquiry from our customer. They are doing POC with the Pi5, and also can be done with the IRIV PiControl CM5. They want to have put a camera at the event. This one is for event. For example, you have a fair, or they just put a camera there, then they can count how many people are actually attending to the event without any registration or scanning barcode. They just use the camera to count the people.
Mr. Kong, we have one question. So does
Okay.
it have a problem with sensor if used for robot car? So IRIV with robot car, I think the question.
This I think this is more to the interface. So it's depending on the sensor interfaces. For example, if you are using LiDAR with USB, then there's definitely no problem. So if you are using GPIO, we also have digital input, but there is only 4 digital input. So if you need more, you can extend it out with another IO expander or something like that. So it's depending on the communication interface of the sensor itself.
Okay,
so
thank you.
I continue. So for inventory counting, we can also put a camera and then to count how many stock we have in our warehouse or in our rack. This is we received an inquiry from a SI lah. They want to put the camera inside the fridge. Maybe the fridge is for those convenience store, 7-Eleven. They want to monitor how many stock left in the fridge. So they just can use a camera to count the stock and monitor it real time. So for now, actually what they do is periodically they send their staff to the fridge and then count how many stock left and to record that using manpower. Okay, this is the last example I have. It's about operator or worker monitoring. We get this feedback during one of the fair, I think last year. There's one, I think it's electronic manufacturing company. They want to have a vision system to monitor their worker or their operator to make sure their operator is not using handphone or is not eating or drinking in the production floor. Besides that, they also can monitor the production area to make sure the worker enter the restriction zone with those safety helmet or vest. Their safety attire is correct. Then they don't no entry zone or something like that. Then one interesting application we get the feedback we get from our customer is they want to use the camera to scan the operator face and make sure they don't put any makeup on their face. This is very interesting for us because they say that the makeup powder, if the makeup powder fall on their electronic component, will make the component become faulty or will damage the component. So they want to avoid that and they want to use the camera to detect any makeup on their operator. Okay, basically that's all for some example application for the especially in vision AI vision for CM5. So for continue, I will pass over to Ober about this.
Thank you, Kong. Very comprehensive explanation. Thanks. So we actually have the IRIV PiControl CM5 one model. It comes with the 8 GB RAM for now because CM5 16 GB is not available yet in the market. So we have another version which is 16 GB. If you guys wanted to wait, you might need to wait another. We believe it will be another month for the 16 GB RAM version to arrive here. So for the time being, if you guys want to try, 8 GB is available, 8 GB RAM and also 32 GB DRMC. Just go to our website, just type IRIV and you should be able to get it. Yeah. So it's ready stock. Yeah. So next is what? So thanks for listening. Thanks for the attending the webinar. We are giving out the 10% discount. Well, this is too big. They didn't get my approval. Wow, 10%. Okay. So just limited for 2 pieces per person, and it apply to the IRIV PiControl CM5 version only, and valid until 19th of March, which is 1 month from now. So grab it if you need it. Okay. Next, what else? So if you guys wanted to meet and greet, wanted to talk to us, for example, just now, Nam Han wanted to talk about integration with Mitsubishi PLC. Welcome to register with us. Fill in the Google, I think it's Google form, then we can schedule time to meet and greet. We also offer design and customization service. One example, I think we have covered those that we customize for with the two or three seminar before this. One is actually for solar farm. Another one is for medical device. Okay, we do offer this customized service, and also OEM. We will produce the board or the controller also. Okay, so welcome to talk to us also. And next is just now asked about training also. We have training, but it's the basic, come with the training kit that you see on the slide here. You get the training kit, and we have 2 models. One is you come to our office HQ here. Now available is 20th of March, which is next month. Then another model is we go to your office or your factory or your site to train you. That one you need to get 3 sets, the minimum. And all our cost is HRDC claimable. HRDC claimable.
We have one question here. I think this one Mr. Kong can answer. Have you guys tested CM5 with battery pack?
I think this one is not portable, right? You want to
portable to make it portable. Yeah.
Actually, we didn't test it before, but it's possible. Also, it depending on how long you want to run the rest of the CM5 or the IRIV PiControl CM5 with the battery. So maybe I show back my slide. Now.
How long, and also what kind of load you want to use it? Yeah.
So for example, for CM5 version, under idle is around, we can see that 12 volt is around 0.3 amp, 300 milliamp. Then under stress test is around 800 milliamp. So we can calculate the battery capacity you need. For example, if you want to run the CM5 for 1 hour, then you only need one AH battery, 12 volt 1 AH battery.
Yep,
so we can calculate from this figure how big the battery you need to run for how long.
Yeah, another good thing of the IRIV compared to, let's say, Pi 5, you might be able to use the power bank directly, 5 volt, right? USB-C. This one you can directly use the SLA battery, let's say car battery, or deep cycle battery, which is also 12 volt. And because of wide range, when it's fully charged and when it's nearly drained, it can still power or it can still regulate the V in.
Okay, thank you. Other question.
A side note about this training, all the training is using the original IRIV PiControl, the CM4 version. It's not a CM5 version.
Yeah.
So if you want the CM5 version, I think we can customize, right?
Yeah, can. Just talk to us. Yeah. These are some of the photo during our training. This is for one of the customer. I cannot remember the name, but this is conducted at their site.
In the hotel.
Yeah, in the
This
hotel.
one at KL. So the hotel is near their office. So we do at
Okay.
the seminar hall in the hotel.
Yeah. Actually, the training kit and the training we covered, of course, getting started with IRIV PiControl, how to get started, then how to log in, how to program node rate, cover that. Interface with two sensors, one is power meter, another one is temperature and humidity through the ICE Wi-Fi. We'll be using Modbus RTU. Then output, we have relay to control the socket. If you look at that, there's a socket there. So it become a load. So you can connect the power adapter to your laptop when you are writing program for it, things like that. Then also there is an indicator LED with the digital input. So it's a button. It can become a digital output also, the LED. Yeah. So if you come to our HQ for the training, so this is a picture of it. We have a short tour, factory tour. You can visit our production line. So the IRIV is actually being built in Citron. So it's not we carry other product then we brand it. No, we actually design it and produce it here. Then beside this, our partners SHRDC, I think it's Selangor Human Resource Development Center or Corporation. So they also offer very deep and cover a lot of segment of the what we call the automation, smart factory. So if you want to use IRIV, IRIV is one of the controller that they will train. So for example, level 1 data generation, level 2 and 3, what is this? This is machine data logging and also visualization. And the last one, level 4, is data formulation OEE. So it's very comprehensive workshop and training, hands-on. They will ensure you and they will ensure that you can do it until you deploy it. Very comprehensive. And all their courses are HRDC claimable also. So this is one of the course. Then another one is the utility monitoring. This is new one. This is more to the ESG. Okay, if you guys know ESG, then one of the element is to make sure you use your utilities optimally, properly. So one of it is to monitor first. You need to measure first, then you can improve your utilities utilization. Yeah. So again, HRDC claimable, fully HRDC claimable. So I think this is last, right? What is the cost for OEM? I think OEM means you want to customize or you want to white label. We also offer white label. So again, talk to us, contact us through the later. I think we have the form, right? The meet and greet form, or just send an email to us at sales or support. I think it's support at citron.io. Then we'll follow up with you. Yeah. More than happy.
To add on this, actually, we offer two types of service. One is, like Over mentioned, is about the white label service. So we have our existing IRIV PiControl or IRIV PiControl CM5. You want to change the logo to your own brand, or we can do that for you with minimum fee and also some MOQ. And then another type is, let's say the IO on the IRIV PiControl is not enough. You want to change the IO you want to add feature. So that one we can also do for you based on Raspberry Pi CM4 or CM5. Then that will require higher engineering fee and also higher MQ lah. So just come and talk to us and we can discuss further lor.
So I think that's all.
Yeah, I think
Right
that's
on time
all.
also. Yeah.
Okay. So for those who want to get this presentation slide or want to feedback, can scan this QR code or click the link in the comment section lah, or to register your email. And in the future, we have any news about coming webinar, coming new product, we can send to you also lah.
Okay. So thank you everyone who are joining us from the beginning. So actually we have the webinar every month, right? So every month we will have industrial webinar, so you can catch up with us every month. So this webinar and every other webinar is safe. The replay is safe in YouTube. So if you miss it, you can watch again in YouTube to get the links, the meet and greet links or the slide links. Okay, so thank you very much, everyone. So see you again next time. Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you.